guys, this is AwesomeJohn22 coming at you today with another review. Today I decided to postpone my Bumblebee review for one day. It is still coming tomorrow, unless, something horrible happens. But today I decided, in honor of these two characters, Wheeljack and Knockout from Transformers Prime being added to the roster of the online game, Transformers Universe, which I have not played yet, but I do intend to. I decided to go ahead and do a dual review of the two of them. There's no real special relationship between these characters or anything. They just were both added to the roster, so I decided to, do that. I realized mostly that I hadn't actually reviewed any deluxes from the Prime toy line for a while, so this gives me as good a reason as any. And yeah, let's get things started by getting them transformed into their vehicle modes through the magic of jump cuts. So here we have both of them in their vehicle modes, and both are very, very nice. We're going to take a look at Knockout first because, quite frankly, I haven't transformed him as much, so I want to get him out of the way quick. Looks very good, except not quite the paint scheme we saw on him in the series. Zooming in a bit, you can see this kind of gradient pattern with this really dark maroon red that's broken up by these gaps that look more like the paint's chipped than an actual pattern, which is a shame. And removing his spear, we can see the same kind of thing over here, though I think it looks even less noticeable, the little gaps over here, than they do on the other side. But overall, he's pretty nice. The only issue I have with him, and I'll bring Jackie up here to demonstrate, is that Knockout is a very, very small car. And I don't know if he was like proportionately this small in the show compared to other characters, but it's almost annoyingly small. He looks like a toy out of another toy line in this mode, almost. But he's still pretty cool, so let's get him transformed, and I'll show you how that works. First, we're going to separate this back section, and we're going to rotate these bits around just to kind of get that started. Next, we're going to come down here. We're going to kind of loosen this whole thing up like so and bring its legs down. And we're going to take these black panels, unpeg them from the tabs here in his legs, and we are going to just rotate them around, not the feet themselves, but these little posts, these little plastic posts that the feet are attached to themselves will rotate around, while the feet stay stationary on this hinge joint. So to show that off again, bring it out and rotate the whole thing around, and just rotate the feet into position and they become the toes, whereas these car aft pieces become the heels. And his legs are done. Up here we are going to take his arms and we're going to separate them from everything else. And we are going to, and this is the part that really hangs me up, so I'm going to do my best to show it off, but I might actually just do it, unfortunately. We're going to loosen both of them up, and we're going to rotate this around like so, so that the wheel that was here is here. We're going to do that on both sides, and there's literally just enough clearance to do that. Now we're going to take the arms, and we're going to rotate like so, and this hinge fits into a slot underneath. I'm going to fold that up, come here, fold out the hand, and then fold everything together like so. Fold up the little crest there, and that looks about right. Come to the other side, and I'm not going to narrate over here, I'm just going to do it because it's kind of frustrating. And quite frankly, that is, I think, the most annoying thing about this figure, is just getting the arms lined up properly. But there they are. Now we're going to take this bit like so, and we're going to lower all of this down. Did I miss a step? Did I do something out of order? What we're actually going to do next is we're going to loosen up these panels. We're going to take this here, completely forgot this step, and just separate it from these bits underneath. You have to be careful, these bits are on hinges and they can pop off, so you have to kind of be careful there. Now we're going to lift this up like so, like I was trying to do before, and we're going to just come underneath if this bit will stop folding up in my way. We're just going to use our finger to push his head through, and it'll bring this whole panel up. Now we're going to take all of this, lower it down, bring his arm out of the way. You can see there is a tab here and a slot down there. We're going to lower this into place like so and slot it in. Wrap these around his waist, and then we're going to come up here, bring the camera up, and there's going to be little tabs underneath here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. I'll try to zoom in. You can see that little groove there will slot right onto that, like so. We'll do that on both sides. And then we'll just rotate and lower his arms into their correct orientation, which would probably help if I zoomed out a little bit. And there you have Knockout in his robot mode, and he looks very cool. Again, not quite screen accurate to his, and that's just gonna keep popping loose. That's a problem with this figure. There are a couple problems with this figure. We'll get into that. Make sure this is raised up all the way too, just so his head is in the right spot. Still not, like, he's not quite 100% screen accurate in this mode either, but I definitely think it works a little bit better than the car mode did. Zoom out the rest of the way, and he definitely looks cool, and he definitely resembles Knockout, especially in the head sculpt. He resembles Knockout more than enough to feel like he's Knockout. Really, I think the only thing that really annoys me is that the arms are pretty weird. You can see they're basically what they are. They're the tops and doors of a car folded up flat. We actually got a lot of the stuff like that in Prime though, so it's pretty par for the course. Like I mentioned, this panel just does not stay up. I think you're supposed to be able to like tab it back here, but I can't figure out how. So I mostly just leave it and don't touch the head. But anyway, zooming in close, you can see his head sculpt is great, and you can see the light piping coming through. So glad I figured out what was wrong with my camera. Really cool paint all throughout, except for his legs. His legs are lacking on paint, but you get a lot of the paint that was on the hood of the car on his chest, and you get all the paint that was on the doors of the car on his arms. The wheels look pretty nifty, sitting up there behind his back. It's pretty cool. Still trying to figure out where that would tab in, if it tabs in. I don't know. I'm not going to bother with it. Posability is pretty good. Zooming back out. Doing a lot of zooming in this episode, and I keep forgetting. He rotates at the bicep and bends, I don't know, a little less than 90 degrees at the elbow, and his hand does rotate and does kind of move on its own a bit. He's got good range of movement at the shoulders, a ball jointed head, but like I said, I try not to mess with the head too much because it just loosens everything up. Good range at the hips and the knees, and some wiggle room on his feet too. Nothing at the waist due to transformation, and this is loosened again. And that's pretty much Knockout for you in terms of his features on his own, but he does have the spear, which you can separate into two different parts, and then he can hold it in each hand. But what I really like to do, because his hands are open, you can plug it together and then slot it into his hand, and he can hold the entire spear in just one hand, which is pretty cool. Don't even have to pop it apart. In fact, I kind of wonder why they made it so you can separate it. I don't remember him ever doing anything like that in the series, but I could be wrong. And there you have him with his weapon, and he looks pretty good. Moving on to Jackie over here to his transformation. First, we're going to pop his swords out, which I really like his swords. Let's take a second to get a look at them. You can see they've got some really cool silver paint on the blades with some Cybertronian Garfuffle inscribed on there. And the hilt's pretty cool. It's got this cool little curved shape to it. I really like it. I like it a lot. Just my chair creaking. I need to get a new chair. Jackie himself is very cool, very reminiscent of Wheeljack from the G1 series, though a little sportier. And he's got some really cool stuff happening in his transformation, and he's a beefier, chunkier, more sturdy car and figure, so overall I really do prefer him out of these two. What we're going to do is we're just going to kind of loosen stuff up, separate these, bring them out, and we're going to separate this and just kind of loosen everything, get everything started, like so. And already you can kind of see where it's going, because you can see his hand there, and these are going to be legs, clearly. What we're going to do, actually, is we're going to bring all this down. Start with that. I said I've transformed him more often, not that I've transformed him a lot. Next, we're going to take this, and we're going to rotate it around like so. And coming to the back, you can see there's a tab down here. This slot here was in that tab, and it rotates around into this new slot. I'll show you this way here so you can see it like so. Next, we're going to take this bit and slide it up on both sides, and that allows us to rotate these into place, and that is a horrible sound. I forgot it does that. It doesn't actually break anything, it's just a tight fit. We're going to come back around, and we're just going to rotate the legs forward into place, and that's the legs for you. Rotate these around, and rotate this up. And this is like the one tricky part of it, so we'll actually do the tricky part first. You can see, zooming in, there's a couple of little slots here. Those are for, why is this not lowering any further? I thought it went further down. I guess I was wrong. Those are for little tabs up here in the chest. So what we have to do is we have to lower this down, slide this up to reveal the head, and then bring all this down and make sure both these slots are aligned so that the tabs can go into them. And it's not super tricky, but it's just tricky enough to draw attention to it. As you can see, I already got it all put into place. Then we're going to rotate these bits like so. You didn't really see that, they go like that. And then we're going to come to the arms, we're going to rotate, we're going to slide it out slightly, and then rotate this all together and slide it back in, straighten out the fist. I'll show you again over here. Lower this down slightly, rotate it all around. It doesn't matter which way you go as far as I can tell. And then straighten out the fist. And there we have Jackie in his robot mode, and he is just built for action poses. I mean, look at that. He just looks like he's about ready to get something done. And he looks great. Like I talked about with Naya, he has a great head sculpt. It's not quite on model. I mean, there's some slight differences, but it still looks really good, and it's reminiscent of Wheeljack from G1. You can see good light piping. Got translucent blue all the way through to his neck, it looks like, because you can see the lights coming through there too. Great detail on the chest, great car detailing, a little bit of a fake windshield here, but that's okay. Great detailing in the legs with those vent looking things. You can see he's got his real windshields hanging off the arms, but that's not too bad. And the arms do kind of move on their own so that you can, that allows you to get better poses with his swords. I don't know if they were designed that way, but they do. Great movement at the shoulders, around but not really in and out, but he moves quite far at the elbows. And in and out, forward and back, bend at the knee. Again, no waist on this guy, but he does, again, like Knockout, have a little bit of foot movement. And like Knockout, he has absolutely no problem holding his weapons. We can take one sword here, slide it in, the other sword here, slide it in, and now he really looks like he's just about to get something done. He looks like he's about to take you down. And he does have kind of weapon storage. You can slot his weapons, not there, right here. And I don't know if that's designed that way, or, oops, I knocked him over. I don't know if it's designed that way on the toy or not, but I'm pretty sure that's where he stores them when he's not using them in the show. So maybe it is by design. It certainly doesn't feel like it is, but maybe it is. Either way, though, great figure. I love this guy. And I love the character in the show. And it's really cool to have such a good looking toy of him. Overall, Wheeljack and Knockout, as I continue to adjust my camera, are both very good looking figures that, as you can see here, are in much better scale with each other. If Wheeljack weren't a little bent-kneed right now, he'd actually be pretty much exactly as tall at the head as Knockout, so huge size change, relatively speaking, from vehicle mode to robot mode. I actually do really like that about Knockout. I think Wheeljack is the superior figure, though. Knockout still looks great, don't get me wrong, but Wheeljack captures the character from the show a lot better than I think Knockout does, just due to the pretty gross inaccuracies in both modes on Knockout. Wheeljack, though, looks absolutely great, and as I mentioned, this is kind of to celebrate them being added to the roster of the Transformers Universe game. So, I mean, yeah, if you like these guys, check out the game, I guess. Because you're not going to find the figures very easily anymore. They're pretty old now. You'd have to buy them online, and they're going to be more expensive than they were at retail. I think there's a fly buzzing around in here somewhere. I'll have to deal with that in a minute. But yeah, I would say I definitely recommend them. Don't get me wrong. So I mean, look for them if you like these guys. Look for them and try to find them, see what you can do. But I guess playing the game, which I believe is free to play. I told you, like I said, I haven't played it yet. I plan to, but I haven't yet. Playing the game, I guess, would be a cool substitute if you want something to do with these figures, but you can't find them. Well, these characters, I guess I would say. And there's also Prime. It's on Netflix. They've got collections of it out. It's a good show. Check it out. But yeah, great figures. And I wholeheartedly recommend Wheeljack. I recommend Knockout. But yeah, there's definitely a fly buzzing around in here. That's gonna really annoy me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the review. That's pretty much it for it. If you did like it, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below if you feel so inclined. In the description down below, you'll find links to a bunch of the other stuff I'm working on, as well as a link to my collections video. Check out that collections video if you see anything in it that you'd like me to review. Please let me know and I'll see what I can do. This has been AwesomeJohn22, and I will talk to you guys later. Let's pretend like that never happened.